Imagine a love story so unforgettable that even decades later, people are still talking about it. A story that made us believe in second chances, in fairy tales, and in the kind of romance that only happens on the big screen. But what if that story isn't finished? What if, after all these years, we are finally about to witness the next chapter? Get ready, because the reunion fans never thought they'd see is now becoming reality. Asterisk back in the early 90s, audiences were swept away by one of the most iconic romantic films of all time. The chemistry between the lead stars didn't just light up the screen. It became a cultural moment that defined an entire generation of movie lovers. It wasn't just about the love story between two characters. It was about transformation, vulnerability, and the belief that sometimes life gives us the most unexpected kind of happiness. For years, fans held on to that memory, rewatching the film, quoting the lines, and dreaming about what might have happened after the credits rolled. Did the romance last? Did their lives change as dramatically as the ending suggested? Or was it only a moment in time? These questions lived in the hearts of millions unanswered, waiting for a continuation that never seemed to come. Now, after more than 3 decades, the impossible is finally happening. Whispers of a sequel have transformed into real anticipation. The beloved stars are preparing to step back into roles that made them legends, and the world is buzzing with curiosity. This isn't just another movie release, it's a return to a story that shaped how we looked at love and destiny. It's the kind of announcement that makes you stop scrolling, lean closer, and remember how magical cinema can truly be. Audiences today crave more than just nostalgia. They want to see growth, maturity, and the raw truth of what happens after happily ever after. That's why the excitement for this new chapter is unlike anything we've seen in recent years, because this time, it's not just about revisiting the past, it's about answering the questions we've carried with us for 30 years. And that makes this sequel one of the most anticipated cinematic events of the decade. Asterisk. The announcement of this sequel didn't just spark joy, it opened the floodgates of speculation. Fans everywhere are asking the same question. What kind of story could bring these two characters back after so many years? Simple reunion wouldn't be enough. This has to be bigger, more emotional, and more meaningful than anything we've seen before. After all, the original wasn't just a romantic comedy, it was a fairy tale with a twist. A story about transformation and breaking free from the cages of society's expectations. So, if the sequel is to live up to that legacy, it must carry the same magic while offering something fresh and unforgettable. Behind the scenes, filmmakers are carefully weaving together threads of the past with the challenges of today. The world has changed since the original film was released. Love looks different. Society has shifted, and the characters themselves are no longer the same people they once were. Time has passed, and with it comes new struggles, new lessons, and new scars. This creates the perfect storm for drama. Because a reunion after decades is never simple, it comes with history, with regrets, and with the question of whether love can truly survive the weight of time. And this is where the sequel gains its power. The tension doesn't just come from whether the couple will fall in love again, but from the conflicts they must face along the way. Will old wounds resurface? Will past choices haunt them? Will the same charm that once brought them together still hold? Or has life changed them too much? The beauty of this story lies not in giving easy answers, but in forcing us to confront the complexities of love, aging, and second chances. Fans are already creating theories about what direction the plot might take. Some believe the story will pick up exactly where it left off, exploring whether their fairy tale ending truly lasted. Others think we'll see them living completely separate lives, only to be pulled back together by fate. And then there are those who hope for an entirely new challenge, something that will test not just their love, but their identities as people who have grown older and wiser. Each theory adds to the anticipation because the truth is still hidden. Behind closed doors, it's waiting to be revealed. But what makes this even more exciting is the undeniable chemistry between the stars. Even after decades apart, the thought of them sharing the screen again sends chills down the spine of fans worldwide. Their connection wasn't manufactured. It was real, electric, and timeless. And now, with maturity in their performances, the sequel has the chance to explore a deeper, more vulnerable kind of love, one that goes beyond youthful passion and dives into the territory of lasting bonds and unshakable loyalty. Of course, not everyone believes the sequel will succeed. Critics argue that revisiting such a beloved story risks tarnishing its legacy. They say it's impossible to capture the same magic twice. But perhaps that's the point. The sequel doesn't need to repeat the past. It needs to transform it. It needs to show us that love isn't frozen in time. It grows, it changes, and sometimes it demands we fight harder than ever to keep it alive. And this is where the suspense lies, not just in what the trailer might show, but in what it chooses to hide. Because one thing is certain: when those first new scenes appear, when we hear that familiar music again, and when the stars finally step back into the roles that defined an era, audiences will hold their breath. The tension won't just be on the screen, it will be in every living room, every theater, every fan who once dreamed of this moment and is now about to see it come true. Asterisk. The heart of this sequel doesn't lie in nostalgia alone, it lies in the what now. It's not just about seeing beloved faces return. It's about diving into the reality of what happens when time has passed, when dreams have been tested, and when love must prove itself once again. The original film ended on a high, with the promise of a happy ending. But life has a way of testing promises, and now the sequel dares to ask, what does forever look like when forever has actually arrived? At the center of the drama is the reunion of two souls who once changed each other's lives. Their connection was undeniable, but the world beyond their love was filled with obstacles. In the years since, both characters have grown, stumbled, and faced challenges that reshaped them. They are not the same people they once were, and that's exactly what makes their reunion powerful. This isn't a story of young love anymore. It's a story of love tested by distance, by time, by the realities that make us question whether magic can endure in the face of life's struggles. One of the most emotional aspects of this return is how the film explores vulnerability. Back then, the characters were learning who they were. Now, they must face who they've become. And with that comes deeper scars, heavier choices, and the kind of raw honesty that only time can carve into a person's soul. This opens the door for a richer, more layered drama, one where moments of tenderness are balanced with moments of heartbreak, where every glance, every silence carries the weight of history. Fans are already imagining the kinds of scenes that could bring this emotional storm to life. Will there be a confrontation about what went wrong in the past? Will they reflect on the life paths they didn't choose? Will there be a chance encounter that reignites the spark? Or will fate drag them back into each other's orbit in a way neither can resist? The possibilities are endless, and that uncertainty fuels the excitement. But at the core of it all lies one burning question: can love survive not just the trials of society, but the trials of time? The sequel doesn't need to deliver a fairy tale, it needs to deliver truth. Because audiences today crave stories that reflect real life, complicated, messy, and yet still filled with hope. That's what makes the central drama so compelling. It's not about recreating the old magic. It's about finding a new kind of magic in places we least expect. And yet, even as the story promises maturity, it doesn't lose sight of the romance. The trailer teases the possibility of breathtaking moments, quiet conversations filled with unspoken emotions, a single touch that carries years of longing, or the iconic settings that once defined their love story now revisited with older, wiser eyes. These elements remind us why we fell in love with this couple in the first place, while showing us that their journey has grown into something even more meaningful. The true power of this reveal is that it turns the sequel into more than just a continuation. It becomes a mirror for the audience. Viewers aren't the same as they were decades ago either. They've lived, loved, lost, and learned. Watching these characters face the same realities makes the story deeply personal, as if the film is speaking directly to each fan's own journey through time. It's not just about them, it's about us. And as the trailer builds to its emotional peak, one thing becomes clear: this is not just a sequel. This is a story of redemption, of rediscovery, and of the eternal hope that love, no matter how fragile, no matter how tested, still has the power to change everything. Asterisk. The screen fades into silence just long enough to make your heart race. And then, in a single breathtaking moment, the trailer delivers the twist everyone has been waiting for. The lovers, now older and scarred by life, finally come face to face. The room feels heavy with history, every second stretching into eternity. Their eyes meet, and without a single word spoken, the years of separation, the doubts, the regrets, all come crashing back. It's not just a reunion, it's a reckoning. But this is no fairy tale return. The sequel refuses to play it safe. Instead of offering the comfort of an easy embrace, it pulls the audience deeper into the storm. We see glimpses of conflict tears, raised voices, laughter breaking through grief. The trailer makes one thing clear: this love story will not be a repeat of the past. It will be raw, unpredictable, and painfully real. The emotions are no longer the innocent spark of young love. They are the heavy flames of people who know what it means to lose and to fight for what matters most. And then comes the moment that takes everyone by surprise. Just as the trailer lulls viewers into believing this might be a simple love rekindled, it drops a revelation that changes everything. A secret long buried is exposed, a truth that forces both characters to confront not only their feelings for each other, but also the choices that defined their lives apart. It could be a betrayal, a hidden sacrifice, or a lost opportunity they never knew about. Whatever it is, it's devastating enough to shake the foundation of their reunion. This is where the trailer shows its brilliance. It doesn't give away all the answers, it only offers fragments. A line of dialogue cut off too soon, a door closing before the truth is revealed, a tear rolling down a cheek as the music swells. These hints don't just build anticipation, they ignite obsession. Fans will replay every frame, freeze every shot, and analyze every line, desperate to piece together the mystery of what's to come. And amidst the heartbreak, there is still hope. Because even in the middle of pain and conflict, the chemistry between the leads is undeniable. The trailer shows fleeting moments of tenderness, a hand reaching out, a smile breaking through the sadness, a memory of who they once were. These fragments remind us that love, no matter how battered, still carries the power to heal. It's this delicate balance, hope and despair, joy and sorrow, that makes the climax unforgettable. By the end of the trailer, the music rises into a sweeping crescendo. We see a final montage. Iconic locations from the original film now reimagined. The lovers walking side by side, yet still divided by something unseen. And finally, a closing shot that leaves audiences in shock. Maybe it's a whispered promise. Maybe it's a tearful goodbye. Or maybe it's the kind of cliffhanger that makes you desperate for the full story. The screen fades to black, and only the title remains, glowing with the weight of decades of longing. The trailer ends, but the emotions do not. Viewers are left breathless, caught between nostalgia and curiosity, between joy and sorrow. They're not just watching a love story, they're living it again, this time with all the intensity of their own years of waiting. And in that silence, one truth lingers. This is not just a sequel, it's an event. A cinematic moment that proves stories can evolve. Love can endure, and sometimes the most powerful endings are really new beginnings. Asterisk as the echoes of the trailer fade. One thing becomes crystal clear: this isn't just another film release. It's the return of a story that shaped how we dreamed about love, how we understood second chances, and how we held on to the hope that even the most impossible romances could survive. What began decades ago as a tale of transformation and discovery has now evolved into something far greater, a testament to time, resilience, and the power of unfinished stories. But what makes this sequel so unique is not only the return of beloved characters, it's the way it reflects our own lives. Just as they've aged, stumbled, and changed, so have we. Watching them now is like looking into a mirror of our own experiences. We know what it's like to lose, to hope, to wonder if it's too late to go back. And that's why this chapter hits harder than the original ever could. It doesn't just entertain, it speaks to us, reminding us that no matter how many years pass, love still has the ability to surprise us. The power of cinema lies not only in what it shows, but in what it makes us feel. This sequel captures that perfectly, giving us glimpses of heartbreak, laughter, and the kind of emotional electricity that leaves you unable to look away. It promises not an easy fairy tale, but a real one, messy, complicated, and yet filled with moments of beauty that make every tear worth it. That's why people are already calling it one of the most anticipated returns in modern movie history. And now, the question is yours to answer. Will this long-awaited reunion deliver the ending we've dreamed of, or will it break our hearts in ways we never saw coming? Can love truly survive the weight of time, or does every fairy tale eventually fade into memory? The anticipation is here, the emotions are building, and the story is about to unfold in a way none of us could have predicted. So tell me what do? You think, will this sequel live up to the magic of the original, or will it carve an entirely new path that changes how we remember the story forever? Drop your thoughts in the comments, share your theories, and let's keep the conversation alive. Because one thing is certain, this is more than a trailer. This is history repeating itself in the most unforgettable way. Asterisk, the trailer may have ended, but the conversation is only just beginning. What makes this return so powerful isn't only the story on screen, it's the story behind it. Think about it. Two legendary actors stepping back into roles that defined their careers. It's not just their characters who are older, wiser, and carrying scars. It's the performers themselves. Their own journeys, triumphs, and struggles bleed into the story, making every glance and every line carry double the weight. We're not just watching a film, we're witnessing history fold in on itself. And that's where the beauty of this sequel lies. It blurs the line between fiction and reality. When you see them together again, it's not just two characters reconnecting, it's two icons of cinema, bringing decades of lived experience to a single moment. Their wrinkles, their voices, their presence, all of it reminds us that time changes everyone, even our idols. Yet in that change, there's something deeply moving. Because in them, we see ourselves. Fans are already buzzing about the hidden details scattered throughout the trailer. A photograph sitting on a desk. A line of dialogue that sounds like a callback to the original. A setting that feels both familiar and hauntingly new. Each frame is a puzzle piece waiting to be analyzed. And each clue keeps the conversation alive long after the trailer has ended. In a way, the fans are now part of the story, searching for meaning, crafting theories, and holding on to hope that their favorite moments will come true. But perhaps the greatest gift of this sequel is its reminder that some stories never really end. They pause, they linger in our memories, and then, when the time is right, they return to us changed, but still powerful. This isn't about reliving the past. It's about rediscovering it with new eyes. It's proof that cinema, at its best, can reach across generations and give us something timeless. And now, as the world prepares for the film's release, 1. Truth remains. This isn't just another sequel. It's a chance for all of us fans, actors, dreamers alike to step back into a story that once made us believe in love and to see if we still believe now. The trailer may have teased us, but the real journey has only just begun. So, as the screen fades and the music lingers, the final question echoes louder than ever. Is this the ending we've been waiting for? Or the beginning of something even greater? Asterisk, the moment the trailer dropped, the internet exploded. Within minutes, hashtags trended worldwide. Clips were replayed millions of times, and fans flooded social media with a mix of joy, disbelief, and raw emotion. For many, it wasn't just a trailer, it was like stepping into a time machine, one that carried them back to the first time they saw the original film. That nostalgia hit hard, but what made it even more powerful was the realization that this wasn't just a memory, it was happening now. Across forums, YouTube breakdowns, and fan accounts, the reactions were electric. Some viewers admitted they cried just seeing the leads back together on screen. Others dove into endless theories about hidden plot points, dissecting every line of dialogue and every symbolic detail. The cultural conversation shifted instantly, proving that even after decades, the story still holds an unshakable grip on people's hearts. But this impact goes beyond fandom alone. Critics, industry voices, and even casual moviegoers have acknowledged that the return of such an iconic story is more than entertainment. It's a cultural event. It bridges generations, uniting longtime fans who grew up with the original and new audiences, discovering the magic for the very first time. In a world where franchises dominate cinema, this feels different. This feels personal.